The shortness of breath that I went through in association with the abuse that I was going through was so bad that my stepfather, the first one that died out of the 3 that have passed away, and that's a whole nother story, and I'll put a link to a backstory video for that. But the shortness of breath was that I was going through, like I would be like unable to catch my breath for 5 minutes at a time, and really try to do it quietly if my mother was sitting there, because I didn't want her to notice I was going through that, because she would tell me to stop being dramatic and that I was faking and all of these things. And in reality, I was just struggling to breathe. My stepfather was so alarmed by that when my mother went out of town, he took me to the doctor and they did a battery of tests. I mean, one of the ones they did, they made me like swallow this stuff and do an x-ray, and I had like, stuff stuck to me and the whole 9 yards. And they didn't find anything. The doctor just said, maybe she's asthmatic. That was about it. Funny how when I would go to summer camp, and I would know that I wasn't going to see my mother for weeks at a time, or even when I was in boarding school, I would rarely have an episode like that. It's something that still sticks with me, as I shared in the previous video, where if I've had something that's triggered me or there's something deep going on, I will have that same struggle as I'm falling asleep. That's literally now the only time that happens. It's like everything has caught up with me from the day, I guess. And it doesn't alarm me anymore. It's more like something I take notice of to go, okay, let me check in and see if I can pinpoint that or work my way through it, so I'm not struggling for the breath, but rather I'm resolving the reason that I'm not able to catch my breath. I think it's one of those really common things. So if you're a person out there who is a survivor of a narcissistic parent or child abuse in any way, childhood trauma, let's just go childhood trauma, and you had this issue growing up, I'd love to see a hand. I'd like to see if this is one of those things. We have lots of things in common, like not having photographs, having disappearing toys, the words and language that our abusive parents used. We have lots and lots of things in common, and I'm wondering if this is one of those things too. And if it is, and you have a tip or trick on how to resolve that, on how to make it better faster, help us breathe easier. I would really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for being here, my sibling survivors. I can't tell you what the last year plus has meant to me, being able to share this journey with everyone. And if you want to connect a little bit closer, go to the link in my bio. I have group therapies that are coming up, so registration is open for those. They are on Zoom, doesn't matter where in the world you are. And also, of course, I have one-on-one sessions, and I do practice EMDR. So either way, as usual, you will see me here regardless of whether or not you're able to join for the group therapy or the one-on-ones.